Oh,
Hi, everyone.
hello, friends.
Welcome to the fanfiction reading sprints. Hopefully, there are people out there. It always takes forever for the comments to load.
It is working.
I see Rachel is first.
Hey.
Yeah, it's live.
Oh,
we
we
just
lost Joe.
She'll be back.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to go around and say what you're reading and just introduce yourselves?
Okay. I'm Melbine's Fix, Mel, and I'm currently gonna start reading Draco and the Mirror of Ice. It's like a time travel. Like he goes back. It's like rewriting all 7 books in Draco's point of view.
Oh,
and it's a dreary, so it's like Harry and
nice.
Draco. So I started reading some Harry and Draco this time around, and I'm like, I just want it all. Like I'm so.
Yeah.
I already read 2, so looking forward to this
I've
one.
read a few.
Yeah.
I added a few to my TBR when I saw your reviews because I never even heard of that ship, but I was like, this sounds good.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, our sweet fic virgin. There's so much we have for you.
Great.
There's so many. I think it's more than Draco and Hermione. That's how much it is.
No, yeah.
Daisy Jones in the Six is so good. So enjoy that.
It is so good. I love everything by that author.
It's the interview style, top tier. It's good.
The audiobook for that book. Oh my god.
Yeah, I got to read. Yes, on audio.
It is
I'm gonna read
impeccable.
Both. It's incredible. It's so good. I didn't finish the show, but the book and the audiobook, so good.
I did finish the show, and it's been long enough since I've read the book that I've forgotten a couple of details about the show, so I wasn't sitting there nitpicking, because that's how I normally am with adaptations. I'm like, that wasn't right. But I really enjoyed the show.
All right, Tiff, what are you reading?
So I am currently in the Fallout by Every Thursday, I believe it is. And then I think I want to start Remain Nameless, because the podfic, I've been really obsessed with listening to them on Spotify, especially I've done some Dreary one-shots, some Dramini one-shots. And I think I want to do Remain Nameless. But I might ask Mel in the private chat for the title of her Dreary fic, because that's on the shorter side, and I could probably get a lot of that done during sprints. So Draco and Harry pairings are just everything. I did like a one shot of them, and I love it when they're like both teaching at Hogwarts and pining around. I love that. So I'm kind of still ping-ponging as to where I want to go, because I've listened up to chapter 19 in the Fallout. Me and Jen are buddy reading that. And now I'm thinking I want to like switch out and maybe do Remain Nameless. It seems like just like an iconic one that everybody's been loving. So I want to try that.
This one. That's a good one. Megan, hello. That's a good one. I love it. So I'm also reading the Fallout with Tiff, but I need to finish a Patreon book first. So I'm going to be reading not a fic first, but I know my work cuts into all the fun, and this book is killing me. It is slowly ripping my soul out. It's called Unbreak My Heart by Nicole Jacqueline, and I see too much of myself in this book. I can't handle it. But this one is this woman, her best friend dies in a car accident when she's pregnant. The baby lives, the best friend dies. And also she has 3 other kids as well. And the husband is a soldier who has lots of deployments that he's doing. So she basically becomes the like pseudo mom for these kids. But then, oops, on the anniversary of her friend's death, they sleep together and she gets pregnant. So now we just add in a whole nother level of everything. So this book is just killing me. It's killing me so much. I've literally cried nonstop for 2 hours. So yeah, I will maybe turn my camera off a couple times because I literally have my box of Kleenex ready to go because I've been crying all the time. But then when I finish this, or if I can't take it anymore, I'll switch back to the Fallout, because I mean, we still have 60% left of that, and I want to finish it for this one. every time we do a readathon, I try to get through one of the big ones. That's my goal. So I want to get through that one. So.
Joe!
I am getting ready to start In Silence and Submission.
Yay!
Yay!
By Jillian Eliza, because I've seen so many people post, not only my beautiful hosts, my beautiful fellow hosts, but also other people. So many people have been reading this fic and absolutely loving it, and I'm like, I think I need it.
It just finished on June 24th, so that's a lot of it too. Is like there's a lot of people who are waiting to read that one because they were seeing how good it was, and I was like, I'm not reading it till it's done. And people sent it. Well, I had it sent to me like a month ago in my request form because people send me fics all the time, and I was like, people, it has to be finished. It's going to be finished in 3 weeks. I'll read it. I'm not starting it before it's finished. And it's a good thing I didn't because it's fantastic.
The only thing that I know about it is that it's BDSM. And Jen, you said it was, Friends to Lovers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
And is that what
also Yeah, it's Hermione.
Yeah.
The whole week has been Hermione.
Contradictions is the one I've pimped out to people since I've pimped that one out since the beginning. And like I still have the softest spot for that ever. But the Hermione in this one is much more palatable. Mm-hmm. In Contradictions, I love her because it's good like back and forth between her and Draco, but this one is more like they're friends. So there doesn't have to be like this.
They're very different. They're very
which
different.
we love about Hermione, right? That's why we love Hermione is that it's enemies. So like we love that for it.
Yeah.
But it was also nice to have it be like the enemies part is already over. Like we were enemies as kids. Now we've been friends for a long time, and now we're gonna be sexy friends with each other. Anyway, you'll love that one. It'll be good.
Okay.
And Jess, we know what you're reading.
Yes, I am still reading Love at the Time of the Zombie Apocalypse. I'm probably going to be reading it up until the very last day. I did not realize how thick it was, but I made a decent amount of progress today. I'm really proud. Mel, I've been messaging you all day. Thank you for being my emotional support. So,
well, the way it works out, you should be able to get a 9-square blackout with just that one because it's a host rec, it's the over 300K, it's a OTP, it's a, like I think you can black it out with just that.
That's what I figured. I was like, this is long enough. I think I got all the prompts.
Yeah. Are you loving it? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it.
I
think I might like it more than Manacled. We will. It's close.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, a very different, completely different type of book.
Well, Crystal said that. Did you finish it? So people in the chat that are reading Manacled or have finished Manacled were asking if everyone's emotionally okay because of Manacled.
Oh yes,
so that's definitely like iconic. You're making me want to pick up Love at the Time of Zombie Apocalypse. Yeah. I knew she was thick though, because I've seen Mel bind that in like 3 separate binds.
It's 800 pages.
I love it.
I love 800
pages.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to annotate it. I grabbed my copy and I'm like already like format it how I want to annotate it. So I was like debating whether to do that during the sprints or read the other, like the Dreary one.
Yeah. I'll probably just put it on my TBR in August because I can do the audio for it. I'll probably just do that.
And the audio is really good. Like I was saying in our group, I love the one narrator.
Yeah, I've liked all the audios I've listened to. I usually can get into them. There was one that I listened to where the voice they did for Hermione was very like high and squeaky. And I was like, why are you making her annoying? She's the heroine of this one. You're not Jim Dale. You're not supposed to make her annoying in like the OG books. Like so they picked really like high voice for her. But otherwise I've always loved it. I mean, Remain Nameless is really good. And I mean Manacled too, from what I listened to. I outstripped the audio for that one when I was reading it. But
Manacled, I feel like they switch a lot more often. So that can be a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a different group, I think, that did it.
But yeah, it was. That was Audio Book Warriors, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love
Uh-huh. I love it. I love it.
Spice up my Friday with Shamrocked with RH Gargoyles, Leprechaun, Human, and MC Gang. Shortly, that's not fanfic.
I like it though. I'm trying to find one that's not a wizarding fic. I think I might go the Batcat route, and then I'm also obsessed with Daria and like best friends like brother. Like I should when I was watching Daria, so I'll probably be like searching for.
I didn't share it this time, but there was also that Spock and Kirk one that I read that was really great because Spock is asexual in that, and so it's literally just about him sexing the shit out of Kirk. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I read like Stranger Things fic too. Like it's a Steve and Eddie one where like Eddie's like a rock star and like Steve is a bodyguard. So that's like it was really good. And then I also read a Witcher one too, like a short one.
Ooh, I'd be interested in that one.
Yeah, I liked it. It's like I forgot the guy's name. It's Gerald and Daskier.
Yeah.
So I love it. Like, yeah. It was short. It was a short one. And it was really like a reimagine of like of season 1 where like he tells Daskier to go off. So it was cute.
I like it. Oh, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Crystal Manacled was my first fic too, and it took over my life for like 3 days.
That was our first fic too.
It is,
So wait, so was that almost everyone's first fic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
it's Joe's. No, not for like everyone, but like for us, it was Joe's fault. Joe did it.
Oh yeah,
Joe did it.
Guilty.
I'll remind everyone, Joe's the reason that we have the readathon, everybody. So
my first fan fiction was After by Anna Todd. Harry Styles fan fiction, baby. I read that on Wattpad back in the day. It was deliciously toxic, but last year, January, Manacled took over my life, and I made it Jen's problem, and she has now spread it.
Yeah, my first fan fiction, I used to read like Buffy fan fiction, and then I did read Harry Potter like when the movies first started coming out, but before it was Buffy, and then I've been reading fan fiction for like ever.
I mean, it's not like I'd also read After. I also had done some Klaus and Caroline stuff before, but also, I mean, I read 50 Shades of Grey. That stuff's all true. It is, but let's be clear. Like Manacled's the one that gets you like hooked on shit. These days, Manacled's the one that gets people hooked on stuff, and and now I've read over 100, and I'm not going to stop. Like they're the best.
Oh, I've downloaded I think 18 at this point, and I just figured out how to download them less than an hour ago.
I mean, I include them in all my reading stuff, like whether they're on Goodreads or not. Like I figure out how many pages they are and I count them. Like it's a book. I don't care. So many books started as someone's fanfic. These ones just aren't like, other kinds of it. Like it's reading. I recommend them to people all the time. So
thank you, Megan. I will be checking that out. Pride and Prejudice, What Ifs.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, that's what I'm reading. I started the Colonel Brandon and Marianne one. Is by the same author who did Lovely Bribery. That's how I found it. So the Snape and Hermione one, that was my first fic of the readathon. That's like the proposal, which by the way, that one was hilarious. It was so good. And when I was looking up the author to get the link for the fic, I saw that she does Colonel Brandon and Marianne fic too, which I guess doesn't surprise me because she's writing Snape fic, and if people are writing Snape fic, then writing other Alan Rickman fic happens. So there you go. But
yeah, my cousin reads Pride and Prejudice fan fiction. I gave her like a bind of like short one shots of.
Is it? I feel like all romance is Pride and Prejudice fic. I would put it out there that almost every romance we love today could fit into one of Jane Austen's 5 or 6. I would put it out there that I could fit it into anyone.
You should do a video of that. That'd be interesting. Of trying to like.
Oh sure, if you like this, try that. I mean, there's a mystery one. There's a enemies to lovers one. There's a friends to lovers one. There's even a kind of sort of incestuous one. If you squeeze your eyes a little bit, that kind of is a cousins one in there. Like, it's all in there. Okay, there's dark shit in one of them too. Like, it's all in there. So, anyway.
I do have a question. What is a one shot?
It's basically it's just one chapter. Like they do like a
Thank you.
short story one. So it's like it could be like from 100 words to like 20k words. It depends how long the
There's one chapter.
Yeah.
They're usually labeled as a one shot when you get it, but basically just means short. Like, that's what I'm using it for.
Yeah.
I think of them as novellas. And I have been loving ETL audiobooks for that. They're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you guys want to answer this.
I've never read any on Wattpad.
I do not know the format of Wattpad.
Yeah, Wattpad.
I go fanfiction.net or AO3.
Yeah.
There's other sites too, individuals, but those are the two main ones I go to.
Yeah. I do not have a recommendation for that. No.
Oh, this is fun.
Okay.
I'm gonna check that out.
If any
Anime
of you guys,
fanfics
this is
is
really
good.
random, like anime, there's a show on Netflix right now that was just dubbed in English. I think it's My Happy Marriage, and it's essentially
Oh, yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Madison has talked about that anime before.
What is it about?
It's this girl that's supposed to have, her family all have these powers, but she was born without them. And she's pretty much like, not a servant, but she's raised really neglected. And then she has to marry this guy that is apparently, I think he's like a general or something, but everyone fears him. And she's like so afraid of making him mad. And obviously I think things are going to progress, but I'm loving
Sounds delicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
The one anime I'm watching right now is Death Note, and I'm trying to like not watch too much of the anime. And because at first, when I watched the first couple episodes of it, I was like, "Oh, this is tracking exactly with the manga," and then I was like, "Wait a minute, let me slow it down because I want it." Like, so I'm reading it and watching it in tandem. And I'm noticing that, like, stylistically, it is different. It is I think the anime is a lot more hopeful, at least for Light.
I've heard that.
Than the manga is. Because the manga, I feel like, is telegraphing that, like, Light is a darker character, where, like, the anime, like, I'm kind of, like, rooting for Light. And in the manga, I'm rooting for L. So that's really weird. But I'm really loving it. So I would love to add another anime to it. Because I just started reading manga this year, and I just started watching like animes because I'm not that.
Yes, it's a black hole. Once you start, it's like you just keep going deeper and deeper. I have this whole shelf. It just keeps going.
Fullmetal Alchemist is supreme. Just saying, that's definitely one you should add to your list.
Which one?
Yeah, I've never read it or watched it.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
I know.
Fullmetal Alchemist, but it has to be Brotherhood if you're watching it.
Fullmetal Alchemist. Okay.
I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. I read the first like hardcover volume at the beginning of this year. I have the first 3 of the hardcover books, so I need to keep reading that one.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
I'm here for it because the stories they just feel fresh. They feel fresh and a little like they're a little darker and they're twisty and turny, and I'm like loving it. So definitely.
Are you reading Killing Stalking?
I started that. I read volume 1. So, and that's dark.
Oh, it's dark. I read volume 3, and it's like
I always try to make romance happen out of anything. So when you were like talking about Love in a Time of Zombie Apocalypse and how it had horror elements, I was like, okay, I might want to jump into that because like Killing Stalking is dark. I keep trying to make it a romance, and I'm like, this is not. My friend kept like telling me it's not a romance. Stop it. And now I can see why.
I mean, but we ship everything.
Yeah. But it's so good though. It's so dark, but it's so good.
And what's so different too with manga is that like you can see it. With like a dark romance, and I'm reading it, like I'm imagining things like, no, it's panel by panel, like the art's in your face. It's there. So I'm like, woo. And I didn't realize, I'm like, okay, I kind of like horror, you know? Mira Grant got me, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like
I like apocalypse horror. That's about it. And like some that's like paranormal horror. If it's like, I mean, there's some like vampire stuff that is actually scary. That to me fits in that. Like, I don't know, Jay Kristoff's most recent book. That one was horror to me. Like, it was terrifying. I was terrified listening.
Empire of the Vampire, that one, or the one? Okay,
no, that one. Yeah, that one felt like it to me. I know it probably didn't fit into it, but to me it was, because it's like no one is safe when it's not a romance. So to me, that's where the horror is in it. Is it's like, fuck, no one's safe. Like, that's why I read romance.
Well, that's how I feel about reading this book right now. I feel like no one's safe. I'm attached to these people, and then they're gone, and it's been a horrible time.
That's what's happening in the Fallout. People are dying.
Well, this is what. So this is the thing though. Like, there's one I just had to DNF. I did DNF Secrets and Masks because I found out it doesn't have an HEA. So I'm just putting that out there for everyone. If you have downloaded that one at some point. Because I was pretty into it. It was very, very dark. I'm going at it and I'm liking it. And then I'm like, wait, I'm getting that same feeling I had in Manacled. Because in Manacled, I had to find out. And everybody's reviews are like, oh, it's so painful. And no one will say, like, is this a romance or not? Like, because you ask the wrong person that question and they're like, well, yeah, there's sex in it. I'm like, that isn't a romance. So I'm reading Secrets and Masks and I was like, this is a really rough Draco and Hermione relationship. I need to know what I'm getting into. And I looked it up and someone's like, no, some people die. And like, not just some people die, like some people that would prevent this from being an HEA die. And I was like, okay, I'm going to bow out now.
I cheat with fan fiction. I cheat. Like, if it's a long one, I'll just go to the last chapter and see how it ends.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, you're giving out tips though. I mean,
I do that in books.
If it's not in a tag, like, I just have to. Like, I don't really read what happens. I just read like the two. Like, I just go to the last chapter if it's not in a tag, and if I see the two main pairings together, like somewhere in conversations, like, okay, I know they're gonna end up somewhere in the end.
No, I completely.
I don't read it, but I just glance their names. Like, if I see their names, okay.
Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah. I always did that as a kid with books. I always did, because I did, I wasn't obviously clear on what romance was or not, right? And now, like, being a romance reader, I'm usually trusting that they're going to be together at the end, so I don't need to worry about it. And then you have someone like Miss Pam Godwin who decides to give you a big FU with one of her books and breaks the own rules of romance. And then you're like, what are we doing?
Divergent hurt me. Divergent trilogy.
Yeah.
But I definitely like paranormal horror, and I don't necessarily like. I learned that this year. Like, I started like branching out and reading more thrillers, and when I realized that Dowry of Blood was horror, I was like, this is interesting. And then I read like House of Hunger, loved that. So I definitely know that I love
that one.
Paranormal horror, and then I also liked Into the Rolling Deep, the novella. I still want to read the long form, which is like Shauna McGuire, Mira Grant. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily need an HA, but with some of these longer fics, I would like to know, like, what I'm getting into.
Well, this is the thing, Rachel. I would also put it out there, is that if it's a romance, it shouldn't spoil you to peek at the end. Mm-hmm. Because if you peek at the end and they're kissing and together, how is that a spoiler? It's a romance.
Yeah.
But if I skip to the end and they're standing at someone's grave at the end, then that is a spoiler I needed to know. That is a content warning that I needed to know. So I just say, like, she's not saying Mel skip to the end and reads the whole last chapter and see like how they end out. She's like, are they kissing? Are they holding hands at the end? Are they together? Because I'm not going to read 1,500 pages. Okay, the Fallout is 1,500 pages. Hermione's not going to be together at the end. Throw that bitch away. I can't read it.
I have so far looked at tags. Like, I'm a tag hoe. I'm like, where are the tags at? End of chapter notes. They used to like I read them like inserts. Like, there's some historicals, especially like Elizabeth Hoyt's Maiden Lane series, there are like these insert short stories at the beginning of each chapter that kind of bothered me. I would like skip past them.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of was reading chapter notes of fics that way, and now I like key into them just to kind of see, what's coming up next.
I don't like content warnings for the chapter. Put the content warnings in the tags. This is just my popular opinion. Is like, I would rather they put all the content warnings in the tags in the front page where all the tags are, but then they'll be like, there are these that I'm like, I don't know if you guys have come across this. There'll be ones where like, there's going to be spice in this chapter, so skip it if you don't want that. I'm like, who's reading romance fic?
I live for those.
I fucking hate that. Don't warn me about the spice. But it's like, so there's people reading these fics that know it's a romance fic that need to be warned that they're going to see dick in this chapter. Like, what are you reading? Like, come on. Anyway, I'm a romance snob. That's my thing. But like, if you're going to warn me that, like, some of the manacle chapter, like, okay, there's going to be an extreme torture chapter coming up, I'm okay with you doing that. But why are you warning me about the spice? Like, let that happen.
And there are parts of Manacle that were way more graphic than I was expecting. Right. I was like, ooh, that was dark.
The switch up is worth it though. Like, it's worth it.
No, thanks.
And there is an HEA tag for Manacle. So you could just look and see if a fic has an HEA tag, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
I just immediately messaged Jen.
I was like, it's there. Keep going.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna do a 40-minute sprint. Oh, sorry. What's up, Deb?
No. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. I'm like, yes, we're going. Remember.
So excited. I'm gonna try not to die anymore.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So how did everybody?
Welcome back.
I got kicked out and I tried to come in.
Me too. Me too.
Wait, how did you guys get kicked out? I didn't do anything on my end, did I?
No, my internet.
Yeah,
It just bumped me off.
Yeah, and then they have to go back in again.
Yeah.
But I landed on the Dreary. And I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're still here, but
You started the Dreary thing?
I did. It's very good. And what did you end up rating it? Because this is like
5.
yeah, it's really good. It's Rachel!
Hi, Rachel.
Mwah.
Tomorrow night's on Rachel's channel. We'll have one more reading sprints. That'll be fun. Ugh. I'm like almost done. I have 15 pages left of this. So I'm like, it's not as emotional now, thank God. I was like over all the crying that was happening.
I'm loving this. It's like sweet. Plus I like an older Draco. He's a teacher.
The Dreary that I read, Draco's a doctor in that one. He's a healer in that one. And Harry is like just a hot mess. Like he has anxiety issues and he has trichotillomania. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
trichotillomania,
yeah. My cousin has that, but and he like advertises in a kink magazine because he's looking for a relationship. And Pansy encourages Draco to look through this magazine and like reach out to somebody. And so they message back and forth for a little bit, and then they agree to meet. And so Draco's like, well, I'll go to this bar and I'll get a drink. I'll be dressed like this. And then Harry like sees that it's him and he's like, oh shit. Because the one thing Harry asked for is like, whoever I'm with, like you can't tell anyone who I am. Like it's a big deal. And then Draco's messaging, he's like, well, actually, you can't tell anyone who I am either. So, like, they don't know who it is. But then when they meet, he's like, oh, yeah, this is kind of a big deal. We really can't tell anybody about this.
Oh my God.
But it was a really, really good because, like, Draco doesn't try to, like, fix him or anything, but he makes him, like, get back into therapy and, you know, like, is keeping an eye on him and stuff. So it was really good. And like very supportive friends. Like it was nice. Ron was the supportive friend for once.
Ron I feel like Ron gets like the short end of the stick.
Well, here's the trick.
Yes, he does.
Ron is okay if it's a fic where he's with Hermione.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or when I read a fic where it was Hermione and Fred, like Ron was supportive in one of those. But Ron bashing is literally a tag. People bash Ron.
Yeah.
I've put it out there. I've said no one has answered me. I want to read one where like Ron gets a romance. Nobody does it because they're all like, we hate him. And I was like, why? He's a nice guy. Like, why do we hate him?
I don't need
like Ron either.
I don't need a Ron romance.
Ron is the reason.
Ron, but I don't need a Ron romance. We got a Ron romance.
No. I don't want him with Hermione. I'm not saying I need to read a Ron and Hermione, but I want to read like a Ron and Harry. Or like I've seen one out there that there is a Ron and a Draco one. And I would read that. Oh my God,
degradation and humiliation, I might read a one shot of that.
Yeah. I literally don't know why people hate Ron, except for people transfer the fact that they didn't want Ron and Hermione together into him being an asshole. Like, Ron is literally our ticket to the wizarding side of everything. He's our ticket to the Weasleys. He's our ticket to so much information that, like, I feel like the movies make us forget because they give all of Ron's important lines to Hermione. Hermione gets all of Ron's important lines from the books. Like, when you reread the books, like, yeah, Ron jumps to conclusions a lot, but, like, he has an inferiority complex. he's the youngest of all these 5 hot older brothers, and he's a sad little nerd. And like,
I like that part of Ron. I just don't, for me personally, I don't need a romance for him. But I don't need like one where like we're hating on Ron. Like it's like, wow, Ron is in rare form in these fanfics. I have definitely noticed that.
Always,
but I don't need a romance
to Hermione. Like they always just like,
Yeah.
Ron bashing is a tag, and like I've accepted it. But I appreciate when there's more like layers given to Ron than just making him this like asshole ex. Because he's always this. He's always the one who's given Hermione like damage or something. And I'm like, he doesn't have to be. Like he could just be a high school boyfriend. Like,
I mean, speaking of Ron bashing, I mean, literally, I'm like 20% of the way into Silence and Submission, and the whole reason the Draco and Hermione relationship sucks is because of Hermione's trauma and pain from the shit that happened with Ron, which I can see. Ron is necessary, okay? He has some really good one-lines. I mean, he's great in some of the scenes, like just in like the the actual series. But he's just not one of my favorites. I mean, if I'm gonna read a fanfic, I want to read something about Harry, which I haven't done. Snape, who's one of my favorite characters. I would love to read a Luna fic, because Luna's one of my favorite characters from the series.
I've read.
Oh, that would be so good.
I read
so interesting.
I've read 2 novellas that were Luna and Snape. They're both very, very good.
Also, the Weasley twins. I need to read one of those because, oh my gosh, Fred and George are so delicious.
I'll
and
send
Charlie.
you the Fred and Hermione ones I've read.
Oh my gosh, yes,
I love
please,
Fred and Hermione.
I told you, part of the reason too is that I'm trying to fulfill my Weasley bracket. Like I want to read a Weasley with everyone. I've read Ginny and Lucius fics. I've read Ginny and Lucius, so I've read her. I've read a Bill and Hermione. I've read obviously I've read Fred, and there's also Ginny and Hermione fics out there. I need to read one of those.
Ooh, that would be cool.
But yeah, I still need to read Charlie and George, and then I'll read Ron with somebody else. But I want to read all the Weasleys.
I liked Percy. I'd never seen Percy Weasley in that way.
I hadn't either.
I did read Percy too. Yeah, I read Percy and Pansy. And there's some Percy and Hermione ones too. I'm not a huge fan of that pairing. I'd like to read a Percy and Luna. Talk about 2 opposites.
Well, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Find me a Percy and Luna. I would be here for that.
Also, one thing about like this one that I just started, the Silence and Submission, I love that this is the first like Harry Potter fic that I've read that the classic like Harry and Ginny, not a thing.
Oh yeah, I love that too. I love that too.
Not a thing.
Pansy, right?
Yeah.
And Harry and Pansy and Jenny and Blaze, I think it is.
Yes.
I love that.
Like,
I think that's so cool. And they're all still friends. I just love it.
Harry and Pansy are in Because of You as well. Like I've read Harry as side characters. I haven't read one yet that's like their focus. But I love when Harry and Pansy are together. I've actually read that quite a few times. They're very like, she's so chaotic for him.
Yeah.
That I love that pairing so much. Because I also read, like, there's a lot of times where Ron gets put with like Lavender, he gets put with someone else in one, and then that frees up like Harry to be with like somebody else too.
But the friend group in Silence and Submission is really tough.
Yeah.
It's already really good.
Yeah,
that was the selling point from Jenna. I was like, oh, okay, their friends want them to get together, and I love that. I really do.
Is that a shorter one? How long is Silence?
Yeah,
it's not long.
It's like 70,000.
Girl,
yeah,
it's
pretty short.
You're gonna love. I think you're gonna love your dress. Like
sneak it in at the end.
I'll like try.
She's got work, ladies. But
it's like even after the readathon, just like sneak it in. Like that's another one that you put on your TBR. It's
okay.
Yeah, I've literally already put it in 3 rec videos that I've done. Because when I read a fic that works like that, one that's not one of the huge ones, I pump it out to everybody. I'm like, why not? It's a free fucking book. Why wouldn't you read a free book that's perfectly done? Like, oh gosh, it's so perfect.
And it's romantic. It's just, it hits the notes. And it's so nice to see like a Hermione where they're friends to lovers. It really was top tier. It's really
I tell people some like Contradictions. This one, there's another one that is a dreary fic that has really good BDSM. Like, if people love Sarah Kate's books, I'm telling you this. If you love Sarah Kate, you'll love any of these ones that we're talking about because they're just so well done about like the rules being shared without it having to feel like an instruction manual, because someone's still learning, but it's also not like, you know, and like I love contract negotiations when they're done in a sexy way, not in a Christian Grey type of way, when they're done in a really sexy way. Like Contradictions does that, and so does Silence and Submission. Like, oh God, I love that stuff.
And I definitely want to reread Apple Pies and Other Amends.
And that one was so cute.
That was so cute, and I want to like make some of the recipes from there. Like that's like
I want to listen to that one. I think that one's fun.
Yeah,
listen to that one this week. It was really cute. I really liked it. It's short too.
Have any of you guys read? I think it's Compelled. It's the Snape.
Yeah.
Is that one good?
That's what I'm hoping I don't fall into with the Fallout, where I started Compelled and I still haven't finished it.
Yeah, that's in my top 5, Jess.
Okay.
I liked it. Yeah.
It's me. I would like, everyone has to read this. Read Snape and Hermione. It was one of my first Snape and Hermione's that I read too. That one is that one's super dark though. That one's on.
I like dark.
Yeah, I know you do. I was like, that one.
Like Hogwarts bodies are just like piles of. I mean, they are over. You're like
that one.
That's
the one that the epilogue to that one literally broke me into pieces. Like, there's a happily ever after to it, but without like a spoiler to it, there's like a goodbye ceremony to everybody who died, and I died. Like, I literally could not read my Kindle. It took me forever, but it was so powerful because like it doesn't, like, that book doesn't gloss over anything. Like, we saw how hard people were working and how hard it was to get the victory, and like, so at the end when they're like saying goodbye to everybody, I'll just tell you, there's one Weasley left. There's one Weasley left. I could cry right now. Oh,
I didn't even know that.
There's a tag that says major character death, and then you have to be prepared.
Yeah, they don't know which one.
I'm not telling you which one. There's one Weasley left, and they're honoring everybody. And I was like, I can't.
I also recommend
the manacled thing. Yeah, that reminds me of the whole manacled movie.
Oh,
I was bawling at the beginning of Manacled. Okay,
But it was also like the cost to it made that book. Like, I've never forgot it. That's one of the first fics that I read because I was on the Manacle train of like giving these really dark ones, and I just remember that because like we earned that happily ever after, but it also is like Manacled. We're like, but we're not just like okay, like we're not okay. We're not okay.
Oh, that HGA. I know
and neither is Jen.
That one, and there's the other one. What?
Lizelle's at 70% of Manacled. I'm telling her to keep pushing. It is
It's
beautiful. It's beautiful.
A World Not Fit to Live In is a Lucius, Draco, and Hermione one. That is not a reverse harem. It's not a menage situation, but that is the single darkest one.
Wait, what was the name of it again?
A World Not Fit to Live In.
Yeah. Jess is like, give me the trauma. I want the pain.
Literally that one, number one, has some fantastic twists and turns in it. And that was one that, even more than Manacled, even more than Compelled, even more than any other one I've read, I got to around like the 50% point, and I was like, there's no fucking way that we have an HEA. I was like, there isn't. There's no hope. Why am I reading this? And then it did. But I was like, there's no fucking way that we have an HEA at the end of this, because yeah. Anyway, so there we go. Sorry, that was a walk down memory lane.
Oh, good.
No, but
this is why I'm looking for some happier ones these days. Okay, I started dark and I stayed very dark.
Another like Snape and Hermione one that I recommend is Chasing the Sun, because it's like a rewrite of the last book kind of thing. I really like that one. It's like extreme slow burn, so it's like really good. That was my favorite Snape and Hermione one.
Okay. What now? Can you tell me, what are your thoughts? Have you read Tea and Necromancy?
I haven't read it. I heard of it. I don't really know like the summary of it, but I heard the name of it.
Yeah, because I've seen it bound a lot. So I was just curious. That was like how I started trying to figure out what I wanted to read next. Because if Jen hadn't read it yet, I really didn't know how to find what. I talked about that in a video. Like, I didn't know how to like search out what I was looking for myself. And I noticed that like if there were like multiple binders and artists that I was following on Instagram binding or creating art, then I was like, that's my next fic that I want to read. And so I've definitely seen tea and necromancy a lot.
Yeah, because I know that one's like post-war, so it's like 8-year. So
Yeah,
I haven't read that one.
hey Rachel,
it's
I
short.
would have to mix
It's a really short
the
one.
happy ones. Gotta mix the happy ones in.
Yeah, I want the sweet. Yeah, I'm liking the sweet. I'm like, oh, apple pie and other mints. It's actually pretty like dark. She's like baking so that she can, you know, heal through her post-war trauma, and she's delivering it to everyone, even those who were maybe on the other side. And that's how she, like, Draco's kind of her last stop of that tour, and like, but it's still like sweet among them, and it still deals with like heavy like PTSD and trauma and BDSM. And I'm like, ooh, but I do want something like cute, like cuddly, like sweet too.
Yeah,
I do. Like all the feels. Like I could do like a whole fic of just like feels, which I'm feeling like Remain Nameless is gonna be like slow burn, coffee, you know, house. Like I'm like kind of into that vibe. I'm definitely gonna start it. I might.
That one's cozy. That one has a lot of cute moments in it. It's so cute.
It does still deal with the darker aspects, but it's not as blatant. It's more, I mean, they do have trauma. They do have, you know, nightmares, but it's dealt with in a way that it's not super dark. It's more of like a mutual healing process that they go through together. It's therapy. It's so good. Yeah, it's really good.
Like they have each other to lean on, kind of thing.
Yeah. And it makes me want a blueberry scone. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
What's the Fallout? What's the vibe of that one?
It's dark.
It's war.
Like, you know how the war, they do all the, like in a lot of fics, they're referring to their wartime trauma like you're in it.
In it,
And they're going out on missions and it's kind
it's
of
also like we've lost people. There's a lot. Like I just had there was just a big loss. To me, it was a big loss.
To me too. Me too.
One of my guys who like always makes it through.
Yeah.
Like someone who always makes it through. Yeah. No matter what the story is, who did not. And I was like, whoa, we just did that person dirty like that. Okay.
They just clubbed me from like the left field. And then it was like,
and the way the story is told too, like you lose the people and we like move on very quickly. There's not like grieving time because we're in the middle of it. So it's like people go on missions and people don't come back.
Yeah.
And especially with how it's told, like in the beginning when we're at like day 200, because it starts in like day 200-ish, I think is when it starts. Like it's a bigger deal when we lose people. And like now we're in day 1500 and we just move on. And it's very like, oh wow, we're at that place now where we just are.
They're like jaded by the war kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just
but that's what I was saying in another time, like when I get back into this, I need it to be getting more now because we've been doing that for 40% of the book. Just we're in the middle of war. This is happening. And like there's progression happening with like Hermione and Draco, which I'm here for the romance. I'm here for it. But as a bigger world, I'm like, okay, you have a lot of like plates spinning for what's happening in the background. And like I need the story to be moving forward now because I'm sold on Draco and Hermione. You don't have to sell me. Like I'm in. I believe it. We're here. But I need more. Whereas I feel like in some other of the longer fics I've read, I've been driven by the story just as much. And this one I'm kind of so anyway, that's just me. Like I said, once I get through it and I can see what the whole picture was, then I can reflect on like, okay, no, that was good pacing. I just couldn't see it. You know, when you're in the middle of 1,500 pages, it all kind of feels like, can we move?
It was like that with Freaking Manacled. I had to know. I was like, when's the switch up? What was the? I was just like kept going. I'm like, this is dark. Let's keep going.
Right. We do spend a lot of time in the past though in Manacled, which I wasn't expecting, and like that was a long chunk.
Yeah.
No.
currently going through.
At the first part of the flashbacks, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?" I hated it. I read like the first 5 chapters, and I was like, "I don't even know if I want to finish this because I am not liking this." And so I was like looking on TikTok because that's where I saw it at because people were going crazy about it over there. So I was like, "Manacled, is it worth it? Let me work it. Like, let's figure it out." And people were like, "You've got to push through," and so I did. And I love the flashbacks is probably my favorite part of Manacled now. But those first like 5 chapters, it took some time because
I'm going to read it in order the next time. So I think it will help when I read it in chronological order too. So
Liesl just commented, if anyone is curious to learn more about cerebral palsy, I just posted a video about it, and 2 people who have cerebral palsy actually commented on my video. So head over to her page.
Yes. Is that your disability recommendations video, Lizelle? Because that is on my to watch list, if that's what that is.
I think that was the tag video.
Yeah, that's.
You have to leave, Tiffany? Is that what you said?
That's in my feed too, her video.
Oh, I thought you said you had to leave.
Yeah, I have to head out at 6, so I have till 6.
Nice.
Okay. Is it, what time is it now?
5:30.
Okay.
Oh, it's 8:30.
It's 5:30 for us.
Yeah, it's 5:30 for us.
And it's 7:30 for me.
It's 8:30 for me too.
Yeah, we're all over representing all time zones. I really, if it weren't for live shows, I would not be up on that. Aww.
It's game. Back in scared. I'm gonna get too distracted, and my editor is waiting for this project.
Oh yeah, that is a real fear, man. That is a real fear, man. That is why I have to put the fics on my TBR now, because they used to just be my like treat at the end of the month. Like that's what I did last year. I would get all my TBR done, and then I would read some fics. But if I get sucked into them during the month, I'll go on a binge and read like 10 fics, and I'm like, I can't. I have commitments. I have commitments to people who are paying for things. So yeah.
At this point, I'm just ignoring all the books behind me and just like fan fiction.
Liz, not sure how you say that. I actually have a playlist about all the different places that I've gotten them from. But yeah, an archive of our own is the best place. There's also fanfiction.net. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wattpad does have some as well. Mm-hmm. There's also Fic Hub is the
converter.
But there's also some other ones.
There's adult fanfiction.net, which is majority. Yeah. It's all M, like explicit stuff. Yeah.
But I have on my channel, I made a playlist of the videos, and it has all the links to everything in those videos, so that can be easier because you definitely can just go to these sites and start searching whatever you want, but it sometimes helps to have an idea of where you want to start with.
Mm-hmm.
There are literally millions.
It can be really overwhelming because when I first went on there, I was like, oh no, I don't know what any of these are. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Now I know how to narrow it down of like, you put in the fic, you put in the couple, put in the rating, put in how long you want it to be, and then you can like hop
and just in. Rex, because where I'm a little counter to this when it comes to my romance, when it comes to fanfic, I follow the hype. So I'm like, if a lot of people are talking about this fic, if a lot of artists are creating art, if a lot of binders are binding it, I want to maybe look and see the synopsis, look at the tags, see if it has stuff that I like, and then I'll download that. Or like things like this, like the first round of the Romance Readathon this time around, like seeing what everyone's reading and liking, so that it kind of can lead me down certain rabbit hole, because there are legion. There are so many.
Yeah.
And it can
I also follow a lot of people on Instagram now. So that's something I've been trying to share in my stories is different fanfic artists. And then there's a couple pages that are literally just dedicated to Rex. Like there's some people that they just do Dramini post-war. They do Snamini 8th year. Like you can get very specific Rex that way. They'll do Hermione one-shots. Like you'll be able to find it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Something I do.
Plus, there is so much on Reddit. Like when I was going through and trying to find like a TBR, I was like, I want something that I've never heard of, from anybody. So I just looked up Dramini fanfiction on Google, and there was a whole Reddit page of people just giving you all the stuff about all of the different fics about Dramini, and that's where I found Until the Ink Runs Dry, which that one was pretty good. Like I do have to say, Hermione in that one feels more like new adult than adult, and it is written all in letters, so there is no spice. So yeah, I like the spice personally.
Yeah.
But there is a companion like one shot after that where we get a little bit of spice, but just like play around with it. I mean, I think AO3 is a little bit intimidating to kind of search through, but just because I haven't done it before. Google is a lot less intimidating. So I just
And
Googled it
also,
and found some stuff.
Like there is Dramini playlists on Goodreads now too. Like not all fics are going to be listed on Goodreads. I understand why some authors don't want their works listed on there because sometimes that can lead to stuff being taken down if certain things, whatever. But I know for a fact that there's a list that has over 250 Dramini fics on it.
Same cookie? Same exact cookie?
Yes! That's the first one I picked out of the box. I'm like, lemon baby.
I already ate mine yesterday.
11 one?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's drinking from a fire hose list, so check out some of those resources until you find out what stuff you like best. That's the best way to do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys want to do one more
Yes, please.
reading sprint? Okay.
Should be finished with this then.
I might have to pop off during.
Okay.
I'm going to say goodbye now, but I'm going to keep going until, because I'm loving finely drawn lines. Draco draws Harry out of a person. I'm like, that's why it's titled that. It's so good. Sweet. It's so sweet. I'm loving it.
All right.
All right, starting now. I'm not okay. Not okay at all.
Breathe.
And I should have known because the chapter was called Betrayal. Like, should have gone in there like knowing something was gonna happen, but oh
my God.
That was rough.
Just step at a time.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine.
Oh man, you reading it just makes me want to read it already.
How did you guys do? What'd you get done?
Good. I finished this one. This was good. Definitely 5 stars. Good for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm reading like the Draco Goes Back in Time. So like him meeting like Harry again when they were like kids, like they both get their wands like around the same time. Like so like it's cute, but at the same time you see like Draco's backstory with his dad, and it's like rough, really rough.
Yeah.
Because he still has those memories from the last 7 books, so it's like him reliving everything. So, and it's like trying not to like ruin everything.
So much pain for everyone.
Lizelle, I'm sorry. I can't remember what happens at 75% in, but like that whole
I
was crying throughout that entire book.
It's all painful.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm back into mine. Mine's so much depression. We'll see. Tomorrow, I don't know about tomorrow either because I have to film in like half the day tomorrow. But I'm going to try to make the biggest push in this one anyway tomorrow because my dad's coming through town again tonight, so I have to go pick him up in a little while. And so I won't get any more reading done really once he's here.
Yeah.
But
what time are the sprints tomorrow on Rachel?
They're at 7 tomorrow, so 8 for you.
8 for me. Okay. Because I'm also filming in the morning, but I'll be done by then, so I can definitely hop on.
Yeah. For me, it's not so much the filming, it's the editing and the uploading takes longer than filming does. So
I'm the opposite. My editing takes forever. My filming's quick.
No, that's what I mean. I'll be done in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then I'll be editing it until like 3 p.m. Like I'll be doing that all day because my internet's super slow too. So yep. Yeah, it was really good. I've only ever heard about the first one, but I just downloaded the next one because it's about the very angry brother. So I think that'll be a good one. But no, this was hard. It's very emotional.
Yeah, it sounded.
Yeah.
It was. Wow. The hero just has so much self-hate and he pushes it off onto her, which isn't fun, but he had a really good grovel. I like right in the book, I got to a certain spot and I was like, okay, this is the lowest he can go. This is the worst possible thing he can say to her. What's the grovel going to be? What's my grovel level going to be? And it was pretty good. It succeeded because I'm a pretty big stickler for it, actually, because this year I've read so many heroes that just get away with so much shit. And then he like says, I love you. And we're like, okay, happily ever after. I'm like, no, you emotionally devastated this person. And then you just like wave your fancy dick around and it's over. And I'm like, no, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. So
I feel like that happens in a lot of like the lighter romances where the guy like completely is just the worst and like barely apologizes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't have patience for it anymore. Like some of the ones I'm like, no, you didn't like like legit the stuff this guy does, doghouse forever. But he has a legitimate, like, he was grieving. He's feeling, like, bad feelings because he's loving someone who he should. Like, I have a lot of tolerance for that. But that doesn't mean you don't have to dig your way out of the shit heap. Like, you have to work. And he does. And in other ones, they, like, get him some flowers and they say they're sorry once. And then the woman's supposed to move on. And I'm like, no. If you are going to be that much of a shit, you equally have to be that much of a hero on the other end. Like, I don't know. so many lately when people are like, oh, he's so swoony. I was like, what did he do to earn it back? Like, what did he do to earn it back?
That's why I like Between Wrath and Mercy, because I feel like most of that book is the prince, like, kind of not groveling, but being like,
oh yeah,
I'm sorry about everything. But like, he spends a good chunk of time doing, like, almost half the book is him doing that.
Oh yeah. Well, and she made a decision after like 3 days. Like, we don't have to get into it. That one is an equal. They equally have to. Anyway, there's so many great moments in that. I can't start spoiling for people, but there's a moment in that book that completely all levels it all. And I was like, you guys are both like, you're fine. We're good. Like,
we're okay.
One specific moment where we find out some information where I'm like, whew. Honestly, I feel no anger anymore. But no, for real, that'll happen in contemporaries. I think do it the most, because the stakes aren't that high. So I mean, they're not. So when you have a hero completely overreact about something, and then just destroy all the trust we've built up, and then he just has to come back and like fuck her really good once, and we're over it. I'm like, no, that just happened in a historical. I ranted about it for like an hour, not an hour, but literally for like 30 minutes, because the hero completely blows it out of proportion, and then has to ask his mommy if he should apologize. And I was like, no. You're dead to me. So when they get together in the end, I was like, no, this isn't an AGA. You tried to gaslight me as the reader into saying that this is okay, and it's not. Anyway, sorry. That was a side rant about it. That's a side rant about it. Especially as like a dark romance reader, where like heroes do some horrible stuff to heroines in those books, and they still make me believe in AGA.
I was gonna say it. I'm still okay with it though, because it's just
exactly. But also they're in a dark romance. So like I have I'm like, yeah, but then when they smile at him and say I love him, like I believe it, because it's a dark romance, right? Like if a mafia guy says that he loves you, I forgive him. But when you're in a contemporary, you're just a total dick. Like it's too real world. Like it's too real world for me to just be over it, right? Because if my friend was dating you or I was dating you and you did that, no forgiveness for you. You're done, right? But if it's in a mafia scenario and you get kidnapped and he rescues you, I forgive him for being shit. I'm over it. Anyway.
I feel like that's why I moved away from like small town and contemporary, just because like it's too real. So like I overanalyze it a little bit more than I do with like dark romance.
Sure.
Or it's
no, I totally
with toxic.
I'm nowadays am more like I need there to not be third act breakups. Like I look for like tell me there's not a third act breakup, or for real, like they can still have a third act conflict, right? Like you can still have issues. But if you break up at the drop of a hat after it took us 75% for you guys to be together, and then you say one thing and you broke up, okay, you lost everything we just did. But if you have them have a disagreement and they're like, okay, I need to cool it for a little bit, and then we come and talk about it, I'm like, wow, that was so mature. Like the Becca Mack books that I just read, those ones both did that. Her hockey romances, like they didn't break up, but they have some serious discussions about stuff, So anyway, that's my personal take on romance. People can be fine with whatever they're fine with, but my current era that I'm in is like, don't bullshit me. That's how I feel about stuff. Like the people in this book, they had reasons for overreacting because somebody died. And it's a lot of emotions. Like I've seen people acting grief in the way that they wouldn't act when they weren't, So it's not a dark romance, but it is like the angst is understandable because, when your little kids don't remember their mom and they want to call somebody else mom, like that's going to hurt someone to start, right? Like that's going to hurt you as a dad when you're like, wow, have I let this woman make my wife like forgotten, like that's, you might react badly to it, anyway, the book was devastating. Need to move along. Anyway, well, this is fun.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm gonna keep reading and just wish me luck.
How far in are you now?
I'm not that far. I'm only 62% in.
Oh, well, that's good.
But things that happen. I will say there are like multiple arcs that I feel like this could have been multiple books.
Yeah.
So like we have a problem, we solve said problem, and there could have been an ending.
Yeah.
And then we just move on to the next problem.
Right. Again, fic problems like
Yeah.
this is like, oh, I'm not done. I'm gonna keep writing instead of make another volume of it.
Yeah, but I think I just entered probably like the main like
ending of it.
Yeah.
You have to let me know where you're at.
Well, I sent you that quote. I'm a chapter past the quote I sent you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mel is keeping secrets.
You didn't read the tags, right? Like, what's like in it, right? No?
Well, she didn't read the tags.
I didn't read anything. I just went straight into the
audiobook.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Now I'm, oh, God. Okay. All right.
You're reading a horror book, so
yeah.
Being prepared for shit.
Anyway, and there's a prophecy. If that prophecy comes to fruition, I'm not. You're gonna get a lot of voice memos. All right.
I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Hope you survive.